The Army does not want you to see this.
I know when I shot the first guy, I turned.
In hours and hours of videotape obtained by CNN, you'll see how Army interrogators carefully coax out a confession. The tapes, part of the case that convicted 3 Army sergeants of murder on the battlefield. Private First Class Joshua Hartson was there that day. He was not charged with a crime. The Army only prosecuted the 3 sergeants for murder, though Hartson believes their actions were justified.
Nobody knows what we've all been through. Watching people die. But I think people should show respect to these guys, to anybody that serves over there. Just they are American heroes. And nobody will ever understand it unless they've been there with them.
This is the canal in Baghdad where it all happened. And 9 months later, this is part of Sergeant Michael Leahy's confession.
Where'd you shoot him? He's in the back of the head. How many times did you fire? I fired twice.
It was March 2007 in Iraq. First Sergeant John Hatley was the trusted leader of Alpha Company 118. It was his 3rd combat deployment. On this particular day, Sergeant First Class Joseph Mayo and Sergeant Michael Leahy, both now 28, were helping lead what began as a routine mission.
Clear sky, no clouds, sun was right on top of everybody.
Joshua Hartson was 19 when he served under First Sergeant Hatley, whom he considered a father figure. That day, he says, they were on patrol here when someone started shooting at them. That's when they found 4 suspects, 4 Iraqi men. Nearby, they found a small cache of weapons.
There was sniper rifles, machine guns, AK-47s, binoculars, night vision goggles, duffel bags filled with ammunition, and a lot.
And did you think these were the men that were firing upon you?
Yes.
By all accounts, the soldiers blindfolded the Iraqis, zip-tied their hands, and loaded them into the back of a Bradley fighting vehicle. And it was just you and them?
Yes.
And did any of them speak English?
The one on my right did.
So did you try talking to him?
I talked to him.
What did he say?
I asked him if he killed Americans, made bombs, and he laughed about the questions.
What did that tell you?
Yeah, he did. And apparently it's funny, he enjoys it.
The Army has a strict policy on detainees. At the time, the rules called for soldiers to drop off detainees at the detainee housing area, or the DHA. But that didn't happen.
My first sergeant comes up to me and pulls me away from everybody. Then he asked me if we take them to the detainee facility, the DHA, that they're going to be right back on the streets doing the same thing in a matter of weeks. He asked if I had a problem if we take care of him, and I told him no.
And what do you think he meant by that?
To kill him.
How could you be okay with that?
They were bad guys. If we would have let them go or take them in, we risked the chance of them getting out and killing us, killing other people.
So, in a convoy of 3 vehicles, 13 soldiers holding 4 Iraqi detainees headed down this dusty road, leading to the canal. First Sergeant John Hatley was in charge. At the edge of this canal, the soldiers lined up the men in their custody. The 3 leaders, Sergeants Hatley, Mayo, and Leahy, put their 9mm pistols at the back of the detainees' heads, shot, and killed them. They left the bodies in the canal. A year later, divers could not find the bodies. For 9 months, the soldiers kept the murders a secret. But in time, the truth came out. Earlier this year, First Sergeant Hatley, Sergeant First Class Mayo, and Sergeant Leahy would be convicted of premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit premeditated murder. All 3 are in prison at Fort Leavenworth. This is part of Sergeant Michael Leahy's taped confession.
I fired twice. I fired Like I said, the guy fell back on me, and when he fell back on me, I don't know why I fired again.
The tapes also show the Army knew this could become a PR nightmare.
And we got a hell of a lot of pretty damn concerned, high-level people way the hell above my pay grade that are grabbing their ankles and bracing for what's bound to be an ugly damn mess if this becomes a big, drawn-out, public knife fight.
The murders at the canal also shine a light on that Army policy on what to do with detainees. Some say it led to the murders. Months after the convictions, Private First Class Joshua Hartson left the Army, still certain they did the right thing. But he remains haunted. Few people really understand.
Family doesn't really know about it. I would like to explain to them, like, why it happened, but nobody can understand unless you were actually there.
Like your mom, did your dad know about this?
I mean, my dad served in Vietnam, and I'm sure he experienced his own stuff. And when everything first started happening was a week after, I think maybe a week or 2 weeks after he passed away. That's when I was first approached for it. It would have been nice to have him to fall back on, but...
The support. He would have understood.
He would have.